King Prithu sat on his throne. What choice do I have? He asked the entire court. What choice here do I have? The earth has stopped making food for us. The animals are dying, our people are dying. We were told that when a good king would come onto the throne, that the earth would once again start making food, start providing for all of us. We know that there is resources, that there is plenty of nourishment hidden deep into the earth. And what choice do we have when the earth is not giving it to us? We must harvest, we must slay the earth, and for its meat, for its treasures that it is holding back from us. We must. We were told that when a good king came, that this would happen. King Prithu believed fully that he was a good king from his own story. King Prithu's father, per se, was not a good king. And for generations before that, there were not good kings. And that was when the earth stopped providing. But Prithu's birth was different. When his father died, and the whole world celebrated, the Saptarichis, 7 wise men, immortals of the world, they came together and they tried to extract a new king from Prithu's father's body. And the first thing that came out when they nourished and kneaded his thighs was a foul, foul demon that ran off who knows where. But what they know is that they extracted all the evil from this body, all the evil, and all that was left now was goodness and purity. And so, when they needed the next thigh, or they needed the arm, there came Prithu, with no evil in him, with no evil even a possibility. So Prithu knew he was a good king. He had just gotten back from battling with the god of the heavens of Indra. Indra was so jealous of Prithu that he attacked the earth. And Prithu defended the earth, defended the people. And now the earth was not providing. What choice was there but to slay the earth for its riches? They had known that the spirit of the earth was living in a garden not far away. And so Prithu rode out on his horses, rode to the garden, and went there, bow in hand, to slay the spirit of the earth for his people, for the residents of the earth itself. When Prithu gets to the garden, there he sees a beautiful, beautiful cow. The cow has an aura to it as well, and Prithu knows immediately. This here is the spirit of the earth that I have come to slay. And as he readies his bow, trembling, for he does not want to do this, the cow runs. Faster than any cow has ever run. And Prithu bounds after it, knowing with certainty now that this is the spirit of the earth. He shoots arrow after arrow, and though he is usually such a good shot, every arrow seems to go astray. Is it the fact that the cow is stopping it from happening with ethereal powers? Is it because he is missing, because he is not confident in his shot? Is it because this is still just a spirit and not a being of flesh and blood as it presents itself? Prithu chases the cow through a grove, through a tunnel of flowers and leaves, finds the cow in the arms of a brahmana, a smiling brahmana with his own aura as well. Prithu thinks of his people, he thinks of the denizens of the earth, and he brings up his bow to shoot. Wondering now, if anything goes awry, I could hit the Brahmana. And realizing in his own sense as he thinks this, which is worse? Who are you, Brahmana? And the Brahmana, expecting the question, replies, I am Narada. Narada is the son of Brahma, the son of the Creator, wandering the world itself, telling stories to his own, sometimes mischievous ends. Prithu lays down the bow, comes, and he sits with the cow, the spirit of the earth, nestled by Narada. I don't want to do this, but what choice do I have? My people are dying. The earth is not providing. And the earth, in the spirit of the cow, talks back. How dare you come to kill me? I am the grandmother of everything here. How dare you come to kill me? And Prithu speaks again. What choice do I have? What else can I do to protect my people, to protect my kingdom? I do not do this for myself. I do not do this for pride. I do not do this for riches. I do this only for my people and the animals that live here. Narada, smiling through the whole thing, ignorant in a way to their high emotions. What do you know, King Prithu, of how we came to be here? What do you know of everything that led us to this moment, of life, the earth, of how it all came to be? And Prithu grunts. He knows Narada. Narada, through his stories, always has an end game. But Prithu also is willing for any distraction. And so, tell me then, Narada. Tell me what it is that you came here to tell me. Tell your stories. See what will change. Change my choice. And Narada strums his instrument and begins to tell the tale, origin of the world, of the universe. In the beginning, there was only the Parabrahma, a rippling wave of energy, or in some cases, simply stillness. And that was all there was. All it was just energy, with no physicality to it. And then there was a will within the Parabrahma, a will to become more, a will to continue to be what it was and yet to become more. And from the rippling sounds of it all, a sound from which everything else was encased. From the Om came the three attributes of life: preservation, creation, and destruction. The gunas, as they are also called. And from the intermingling of the gunas came the five elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. From the five elements came a building of a physicality, the building of the willingness of Vishnu. And the five elements all invested themselves in new organs for the great god, the sensory organs, the 5 senses embodied in this moment. And over time, laying upon the Parabrahma was Vishnu. Vishnu himself, still willing the existence to happen, created the seed and ideas from which more happened. Surrounding Vishnu was a golden hue that itself became more of a physical form and grew around his entire being as he laid in the Parabrahma, encasing the Parabrahma and yet oddly even out of it. Out of Vishnu's navel, a lotus flower grew. It grew and grew high into the sky. The leaves flopped down, and the petals flopped out. And there sat Brahma, the creator. Now we had Vishnu, the preserver, and Brahma, the creator, whose only purpose was to create. And as Brahma sat upon the flower, meditating and thinking about what to do, how to create the world, having the thoughts that would become the reality, Vishnu slept. Vishnu, the preserver, slept. And out of his ears, earwax came, built, bubbled, and it seemed like it was a product of his own subconscious. And it grew and it grew into 2 powerful demons. These demons, one desired only to eat honey. Madhu was its name. And the other, named Kaitab. Kaitab looked like an insect. And when the 2 came out, and possibly in some renditions came out very small, there was nothing about them. Nothing except the Parabrahma. No honey, really, that the creature could eat. No other beings to interact with. And these beings, with no other things happening here, simply began to eat. They began to eat the Parabrahman. Madhu and Kaitab grew and grew and grew, and started really to have their own natures and their fears grow as well. The loneliness that these 2 had, all it did was grow and grow and grow, along with their size, along with their monstrosities, their arrogance, coming from their fears, coming from their loneliness, coming from their dissatisfaction. There was no actual honey to eat. And so they would just eat and eat and eat, and surveyed the vast, vast, empty landscape. When they toured the landscape, they found the stalks upon which Brahma sat, upon which Brahma had created, amongst many things, the Vedas, the books of wisdom, an aspect of humanity that is in all things, even at this point. And the demons shook the stalk. Why are you sitting on top here? We are the mighty. We are the kings of this nation, of this, whatever you want to call it. We should be on top. And they shook and they shook. And Brahma, poor Brahma, holding onto the leaf, onto the flower for dear life, while the Vedas spilled out into the ocean, into the Parabrahma. And the 2 demons took the Vedas and hid it somewhere in the vast ocean. Brahma called upon Vishnu, the only other person, called upon Vishnu to help. Vishnu was still asleep. And he called until finally the only option was to tackle sleep itself. And he communicated with the concepts of sleep, digging deep into Vishnu's subconscious, and woke him that way. When Vishnu came to life, he took on a new form. He took on the form of Haragriva, a warrior with many arms and many weapons and the horse of a head. Pure, powerful physicality and endurance. Haragriva attacked the demons. And the battle in all this nothingness was mighty. But Haragriva, Vishnu, could not beat the demons. It seemed as he was making headway with one, the other would step in, give the other one time to rest. There was no beating these demons, these monsters that had come out from his own self. And finally, Vishnu realized that there was something that needed to be done. And he looked at these creatures, their arrogance, their fears, how they reacted to the world and the emptiness that they felt. Vishnu said to them, "You are mighty indeed, and you have come from me. To have achieved such might, coming from me, the preserver, the first of everything, I offer you a boon. I offer you a wish." And he put down his weapon to grant these two demons a wish. But the demons looked at this god, smaller than them, that had somehow managed to keep pace, and they were not amused. Just because we came from you does not mean that we are inferior to you. We have bested you in battle. You cannot defeat us. And yet you come here and offer us a boon? No. No, we are the mighty ones. We are the kings. We are the rulers. We offer you a boon. And to which Haragriva, happy for this response, I wish for the means to kill you.
Oh.
And the demons paused, not knowing suddenly what they could possibly do. They were aspects of Vishnu. They believed in honor, very much so. They believed themselves to be good, to be the victors, to be what is true. And so having offered the boon, they could not take it back. But they looked upon the vast landscape for some way out, saw only nothingness, saw only these primordial waters. And then they had an idea. You may kill us as long as it is not on the water.
Okay.
And Haragriva put his hands together and grew. And grew. And grew, and grew. Grew beyond the water itself. And he grabbed the two demons with two hands, put them on his thighs, and with two other hands chopped off their heads.
Oh.
Vishnu looked around the nothingness now, and this idea of what the idea that these demons had given him, demons that he knew were still part of him, and knowing as well that nothing right now could be wasted. There was already nothing here, so to have some physical forms, none should be wasted. And he offered them to Brahma. Use the bodies of these two giants to make the earth. And so Brahma created the earth from these two bodies. Created the tectonic plates and created the continents. Vishnu watched it all happening. And he thought to himself, three aspects of life: preservation, creation, and destruction. I was called out because I needed to act to preserve. But something about this is missing. There will be a third. There must somehow be a third. Brahma took his words to heart, but also at the same time didn't know what could possibly happen. And he continued with his own actions to create the world and the universe. He created from parts of himself different gods and deities. And it was time now to create some kind of mortals. But every one of his mortals that he created refused to be mortal. He created these 4 wise, childlike dwarves, asked them to help him with procreation. And they've said that the world is so vast, seeing everything that was laid out for them now, they wanted to explore. They wanted to be as in ways other immortals were, and not contribute to a continuing cycle. So many times this happened. One child, in fact, was even Narada himself. Narada himself had refused. Prithu asked him about that story, and Narada said, "It is a story for another day, my tenuous relationship, history with my father." He got so angry at Narada, at the 4 came before, and many others, and it all started to boil within him. Never had he been so furious. And out of Brahma's head came fire. Came solid fire that spilled into a new mass and formed into a new being, trembling with all that rage of what was necessary. The being looked to Brahma and said, "What am I? Who am I?" And Brahma realized, "You are Shiva. You are the destroyer." Now the 3 were in place. Now you had Shiva, you had Brahma, and you had Vishnu. The destroyer, the creator, and the preserver. From which again these aspects came: the gunas, the elements, the elements, and then from the elements, all life. All life comes from the 5 elements, from the 3 gunas, from the Parabrahma, all connected. Prithu heard the story and looked through it all. "You're failing this time, Narada. I don't see how any of this is going to help me. How is this going to help me to know the origin story of everything? How does it matter to me? Yes, I see the great heroism in Vishnu and the necessity for Shiva. And of course Brahma's frustrations as the creator, and the cycles now able to go on and forward. And yet, it does not help in my decision." Narada asked, "Of the 3, which one do you feel most kinship with?" And Prithu, knowing that Narada would ask questions that he already knew the answers to, it still allowed him to think. Not the destroyer, and not even the creator to me, but it is my duty as king of this world to preserve. It is my duty to preserve. So Vishnu is my true God. And so Narada asked, "What of the stories of Vishnu do you know?" And Prithu said, I've heard them every once in a while. But sure, tell me. Tell me of Vishnu. What is it you have to tell me? And Narada decided to tell the stories of Vishnu's avatars, beginning with the first. This was not the first time the earth had suffered from drought, suffered from not being able to provide for itself. Over the time in history, with the cycle of preservation, creation, and destruction, many things have happened in the earth's history. There was an earlier king named Manu, in much simpler times before really there were even aspects of wealth. And Manu, once walking past a little lake, saw inside it a tiny fish that got his attention for its gold shimmer. And when he looked more closely, he realized that the poor fish was landlocked, that somehow within this lake was a little tributary that the fish was in and couldn't get out of. And so, caring for this fish, Manu reached down and cupped it in his hands, and realized then that the fish had swum here because of the bigger fish, more dangerous fish in the lake. It would not survive on its own. And so Manu brought it to his home, put it in a small container, and yet within hours the fish was already growing. Manu took the fish and put it then in a bigger vessel, and the fish just continued to grow. It didn't even occur to Manu that this was something supernatural. What occurred only to Manu was that this fish was going to die if he didn't do anything for it, and that the power to change this little fish's life was all in his hands. Manu took it then back to the river, now that it was already a bigger fish, and laid it there. He came back a week later, just partly from curiosity of the little fish friend that he had made, and partly because it was just on his path. And the fish was huge. The fish was now bigger than him, clogging up the river. And again, if he were to leave the fish there, it would die from having nowhere to go. So Manu, on his own, managed to create some kind of pool with his ability, got the fish inside it, and pushed it all the way to the ocean. There was no other place that this fish could survive. And he wrenched it up. The fish splashed in. And for a while, Manu saw nothing. And then, coming out, in a human form with a fish tail, was Vishnu. And Vishnu thanked him. You did not have to do any of this. By the laws of nature, I simply would have died as many creatures and things have died before me. But you saved me. So I will return this favor by telling you that you will need to also save yourself and the other creatures that you care about. I know that we have had so much drought, but now there is a flood coming, that there will be torrential rains coming. And you will need to take action to protect yourself. And Manu, realizing that this was Vishnu, knelt down and said, Dear God, Vishnu, can you not stop the rains? Can you not stop the torrents of water that will come? And Vishnu explained that it was not his ability or purpose to do that, that he only knew. And he said that part of the reason was for the water, for this elemental part of humanity in earth. The water is a psychic representation. The The reasons for the floods is because of all the chaos that has been happening in the world. All this heightened emotion that is washing the world away in its own torrents of energy and emotion. That is something I cannot take a part of. But you can save everybody. And he instructs Manu to build a giant ark. And so, Manu does what Vishnu says to do. He builds a massive ark. And he invites people onto the ark. He invites the Saptarishis, the 7 wise immortals. He brings in at least 2 of every animal. And then it comes to the plants and the seeds. And Manu doesn't just harvest plants and seeds, for he knows the connections to the earth. And he goes in, talks to every plant, lets them know what is happening, lets them know what is about to happen, and that he needs seeds from them, or them themselves. I need to uproot you. I need to uproot every one of you. Please, as much as I can for us to survive. And normally, if he had just gone to uprooting, there would be a bad relationship. But the trees, the plants, and the flowers appreciate that Manu has established this connection with them. Manu gets all onto the ship, and when the rains come, the ark floats above it, being tossed and turned, and fortunately for Manu, a giant fish comes.
Yes.
Manu ties ropes around the fins of the Matsya avatar of Vishnu. And through the torrential rains, Vishnu keeps them safe. The preserver in mind and body keeps everyone safe. And when the emotions run out, when the waters stop, they find land, and Manu begins a new kingdom of the world. Prithu wonders about this. What is the lesson here? Looking always for what it is that Narada wants him to learn. Is Vishnu going to come to save me? Is that what's about to happen? Am I to wait for him? I don't know why you are telling me these, Narada. And Narada doesn't seem concerned, smiling and grinning away, until begins to tell him instead, or tells him as well, that the story of Vishnu's avatars is not over, and the earth was once again in peril, and tells him then of the Varaha avatar. There were 2 mighty demons, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyaksha, the golden-eyed one, a powerful demon, obsessed with wealth and power, obsessed with breaking the norms, breaking the laws of reality to become immortal, so afraid of death, so wanting only wealth. The golden-eyed one, Hiranyaksha, he took part in powerful meditations, focused his own thoughts to call upon Brahma, to make and to ask for a boon. And Brahma, in this situation, not just a being, but simply an aspect of reality, would grant this boon. Anyone who does their due diligence, who focuses hard on their meditations, will be able to grant themselves a boon. But even Brahma has his limits. And when Hiranyaksha asks for immortality, Brahma says, even I cannot do that. Shiva might be able to do that, but I cannot do that. I cannot make you immortal. And so Hiranyaksha looking for every other outlet instead. Make it so that I cannot be killed by humans or animals. Which animals? Brahma replies. And so, Hiranyaksha says every single animal that he can think of. Make it so that I do not be killed by humans, by dolphins, by giraffes, by lions, by tigers, by insects, runs through an entire gamut. When Hiranyaksha receives his boon, he continues to focus on himself, continues to focus on his rulership and on his wealth. The golden-eyed one wants only wealth. He takes over the earth, and he even takes over the heavens. The gods run to Brahma and ask what can be done. And Brahma explains, the cosmology of everything I have created is so great that Hiranyaksha did not mention one being. And as they asked which being it was, it emerges from the waters. Hiranyaksha has no respect for the earth, no respect for life, and thus no respect for earth and water. He even pushed the earth off its axis, drowning now in the Parabrahma and the waters. But from that action in itself, and from him simply having no respect for earth and water, comes an avatar that is a furious representation of both. The boar avatar. Boars always playing in mud that serves such an analogy of earth and water, coming full force against Hiranyaksha. Vishnu's Varaha avatar as a boar gores the demon with its tusks. And with the demon dead and the world and the god celebrating, the Varaha avatar puts the earth back onto its axis. The gods celebrate, but Vishnu waits, for there is still Hiranyakashipu. The demon Hiranyakashipu, the one clothed in gold, is much smarter than his brother. The idea is that he is someone that looks as demonic and monstrous, but being the golden covered one, Hiranyaksha, in my opinion, is probably devilishly handsome. And from that clout, much, much more cunning. And when he does what his dead brother does, goes to Brahma for a boon, he mentions every single animal without fail. He mentions then, make it so, Brahma, that I cannot be killed on earth or in water. Make it so that I cannot be killed in day or in night. Make it so that I cannot be killed indoors or outdoors. Continuing with a whole litany of ways that he cannot be killed. And Hiranyakashipu manages, like his brother, to conquer the heavens and the earth. And this time, there is no boar coming to stop him. There is still this emptiness in Hiranyakashipu. Though he seems to have everything that he wants, what he does not have is joy. What he does not have is bliss. So when he has a son, he names the son Prahlad, joy, bliss. This son was once captured by Indra. Captured by Indra to hold and ransom against Hiranyakashipu, Indra being the king of the Devas. But Narada, as he proudly tells Prithu, saves Prahlad, saves him from the god Indra, and tells him stories of Vishnu. Tells him amazing stories of Vishnu. And Prahlad, joy, bliss, takes extreme pleasure in this. Takes extreme pleasure in knowing the source of who he is. Knowing the stories of the Parabrahman and the Gunas and the elements and how all of it is around us. That Vishnu is everywhere and the joy he finds from that sustains him in amongst all the evil around him and severely angers his father. Hiranyakashipu, the golden-clothed one. How dare you worship the one who killed your uncle, my brother? How dare you stand with him in any ways? Prahlad, Vishnu is everything. Vishnu is everywhere. We are all Vishnu. You still are Vishnu. I am Vishnu. You are all Vishnu. Does it with such a pure, innocent smile on his face. And Hiranyakashipu himself, not willing to kill his son, but willing to do things so that his son would die, arranges every method of killing this boy. And of course, he's imagined it himself. He had made, in his promise to Vishnu, or in his boon, he had asked, make it so that no weapons can affect me, no stone, no glass. So he knows all the ways to kill him. And yet, though Prahlad never asked for these boons, never wanted it for himself, was simply a devotee of Vishnu, immersed in his bliss and in his joy, has somehow gained some new kind of invincibility. The assassins don't want to kill him. When they try and poison him, the poison doesn't want to kill him. When they tried to throw him into the ocean gently pushed him back. His sister had a boon herself that she would be protected by fire. And so she offers, let me hold on to him and light me on fire. And so she grabs the young boy. And Prahlad doesn't fight it. He knows that even in death, he will still be one with Vishnu. They light them on fire, and then the one burns. But not Prahlad. The boon taken away for her using it viciously. She dies.
Oh my gosh.
All that is left is Prahlad in fire, moving away from him. Hiranyakashipu has tried every element to kill this boy now, this devotee of Vishnu, who killed his brother, and finally decided to kill him himself. But not without having one last conversation. Your God has protected you from everyone and everything. But know this, the boon that I have taken with Brahma, I cannot be killed, not by man, not by animal, not anywhere, not outside or inside, not by weapons. I have the true invincibility. And he grabs his son and says, where is Vishnu for you now? Is he here? I see him not here. Is he in this pillar? Prahlad looks at the pillar and says, Vishnu is everywhere. He makes all of us. Throws Prahlad against the pillar. And the pillar cracks open where Prahlad was going to hit it and lands safely. Hiranyakashipu, raging, walks threateningly towards his son. But the pillar continues to crack open, continues to break. And out of the pillar comes Narasimha, a form of Vishnu with a lion's head, ferocious body, and in fact, as Hiranyakashipu looks over this strange creature that is not a god, that is something new altogether. This creature is not even just lion, it is every animal has been part of this. With a scorpion tail, dragon-like claws it seems like, and this ferocious entity attacks Hiranyakashipu, beats him, cuts at him, takes him, then drags him to the threshold of the palace, the place that is neither fully outdoors or indoors. And the time is twilight, day and night. Hiranyakashipu thinks at least he cannot kill me on land or in the sky. And Narasimha places him on his knee and disembowels him. The preserver is furious to take on this form, to become what he was, to be what was necessary. But the form now is raging still. And it wanders the world ready to strike out at all. Not even able to fully see who is and who isn't a loyal follower. Prahlad might be the only one safe. But Narasimha travels seeing the flaws in everything, seeing how all, in some sense or form, have been getting in the way of him preserving. The gods now have a new creature to face, a new villain. And they go to Brahma, who himself feels helpless. But Brahma approaches Shiva. Shiva removes a lock from his hair, throws it to the ground, and out sprouts a demon, loyal to Shiva. Speak to Narasimha Avatar. Let him know that this form of his is only destructive, that this form needs to end. It is counter to his mission. It has served its purpose now. It was necessary, but now it needs to go away. And Veerbhadra goes essentially only to buy him time. So, Veerbhadra presents the idea, but himself runs away. And when Narasimha, at least the little inkling of a thought in his head now, slowing him down for just a moment, he gazes up. And there is Shurab, now the mighty form of Shiva. Now, with aspects of Narasimha, of all land animals, but also of all the birds as well. And in their furious battle, Shiva, the destroyer, picks up Narasimha, raises him high into the sky, splits his hand down, or runs his hand down from body to groin, and in the struggle throws it off. Before the body lands, Vishnu comes out from the Narasimha. Pure, good, and calm again. Prithu begins finally to look of everything in context, and begins to think to himself what it can mean. And when he looks up again, there is no Narada, and there is no spirit of the earth, no other real cow, just him. And he wonders to himself what it all was. And as he makes his way back to his kingdom, thoughtfully, he begins to think and realize what it all does mean. It is time now for something new. Everyone predicted that we needed a new king, a good king, before the earth would produce again. Our duty now is to work with the world, to work with it harmoniously. From Prithu, agriculture is taught. The need and the understanding that this is what we can do to work with our planet. And though it seems sometimes that we hurt the planet, at least this way we can manage ourselves. He looks to each of the stories that he heard, of the creation itself, and how the elements of everything exists in everything. From that he knows, and especially when he thinks of the Matsya Avatar story, of the man Manu who talked to the plants, knowing and teaching now that when we invest ourselves in the planet, that when we are devoted to it the way Prahlad was devoted to it, taking action and connecting the earth within us with the earth inside, with the fire in us to the fire inside the earth, that there is true joy in serving this earth, this planet, that is indestructible. And that even when there are massive, powerful evils out there that say that they cannot be killed by any kinds of means, that there is some fire of creativity that is always working for this to happen. That Prahlad, with his joy, manifested the demon necessary, the creature necessary of Narasimha. He willed that into being just from the power of his joy. And Prithu teaches all the people of the world to lend themselves to that joy by immersing themselves in the world. By merging the 5 elements with us, with the 5 elements of the earth, and being mindful that when you till the soil and the fire within the soil, you till also the fire within your own stomach. That when you harness and take care of the things around you, those things, those ideas will take care of you. That this is the healthiest and happiest thing to be doing for the world. And Prithu realizes too that in his actions to do this, that the actions that were necessary, that he has also removed the old, call it a curse, call it a prophecy, that it all depends on the king. For he gives to everyone the power to control their own lives, their own will, and their own ability to take care of the earth. Whereas he thought that he had no choice, Prithu now is himself blissful to have given the joys and the choice and the knowledge to all who exist in the world. Thank you so much.